Welcome once again to How to Relate to Anyone. Here is Dr. Orv Owens.
Well, hello again, and welcome back to How to Relate to Anyone. We're working toward understanding inner motivational drives of people in this series right here, a 5-program series. The inner motivations dictate and determine a person's personality, the expressions of how they express themselves, their actions, their reactions, their value system, all based upon the inner motivations. Inner motivations are created by trial and error. We try something, and if we're successful, that becomes a part of us. If we fail at that, then we back off from that and go a different direction. So these motivations have been created over the years, going back clear to birth, and carry over a lifetime, because very few people change after age 10. Pretty much stay the same. A 10-year-old is going to be the same, have some of the same attitudes at age 50 that they had at age 10. So when we work with people in the process of, as a salesperson or a manager or just a friend, the ability to relate to people based upon their frame of reference, their value system, is all in reading what is their values, what is their motivation, what is their basis of who they are as a person. Because you can't expect people to be you. First of all, they've never gone through the experiences you've gone through, successes and failures and so on. So you are a unique individual yourself. And for me to relate to you and you to relate to me, we have to relate to each other based upon the other person's value system, not our own. And so we're looking at 5 different motivations. These are not 5 different kinds of people. This is 5 motivations. Understand, we can't label people. If you label people, you're going to find you're wrong. Because just when you think you got them labeled, they're going to do something that's totally opposite of what you thought they would do. So don't fall into that trap of trying to label people. You cannot do that. But you sure can label behavioral patterns or actions and reactions in a given situation. For a salesperson, that's vitally important. What the people say to you in the beginning of your presentation, both husband and wife if you're dealing with a couple, or whoever the client is, whatever they say in the front end should give you a read on their values. And if you stay within that value system, they're going to see value in your product or service. Simple as that. The problem with most salespeople is they sell from their own value system. I've always liked this. You should like it also. I was impressed with this. You should be impressed. Not so. The person we're going to talk about, or the motivation we're going to talk about in this lesson is really critical, because if you don't hit it on the head, you're going to strike out with this person. This would be probably the most difficult person to understand and relate to on an ongoing basis and develop a good communication, a good relationship. The appraiser motivation, we call it the appraiser because they are the perfectionists. Everything has to be just right. Now that's really good for an engineer, real good for a surgeon, real good for a dentist and working on the teeth. But in many relationships, being the perfectionist turns people off. And the reason's very simple. A person who is the perfectionist, when they hear something that's not perfect, they'll make the correction. What a lovely day, 70 degrees, and they'll say, actually it's 71. And they like the word actually, because actually means actually. We're not generalizing. We're not going approximately in the neighborhood right around. We're hitting the nail on the head. So their fear is ambiguity or a non-structured environment. They become the perfectionists. They want things exactly right, and they want knowledge because knowledge keeps them right on. tend to be quite conservative. And I want to give you 5 words that describe their behavioral patterns. Number 1 is absolute. They deal in absolutes. They don't want right around, they want absolute. As a result, they make excellent engineers and architects, and any position that requires perfection, we want an appraiser in that position, a person with appraiser tendencies. The value of that is they get it right the first time. And if they can't get it right, they will keep digging until they get it right. So that's super valuable. That's why that's the kind of engineer I want building my building. That's the kind of accountant I want doing my books. That's the kind of person I want making the corrections on my teeth or on any parts of my body that need correcting. I want a perfectionist. I want a person who wants it perfect. And so they like dealing in absolutes, and the thing that bothers them the most is generalities or generalization. Number 2 is accurate. Don't argue with appraisers because they're right. They make sure they're right before they argue. They've done their due diligence. They have done their research. They have done their reading. They know what they're talking about. So when you start arguing with an appraiser, you're going to lose because they're going to prove they're right, and you're going to have to apologize for arguing with them in the first place. Just don't. Best thing to say is, wow, I never heard that before. Interesting. Appreciate the information. Especially when they correct you, because they are the kind of people who do correct. You know, if you say something's not quite right, they'll correct you. Proper pronunciation of a word. Proper spelling of a word. I need that greatly. I'm not the best speller in the world. Maybe the worst speller in the world when I think about it. And so my wife is an excellent speller. She has a lot of appraiser, actually. And I say, I'll draw a blank. You ever draw a blank where you just can't spell that word? It's just, I'm talking easy words, 4 and 5 letter words. We're not talking about 12-cylinder words. We're talking about little things. Just draw a blank, and I say, how in the world do you spell do? Well, maybe that's a little too extreme. But my wife is an excellent speller. She helps me in that area. The appraiser is always accurate, so their spelling is correct. They get A's in spelling. They get A's in most quizzes. They are A students. They are scholarship students. They are able to make sure everything is right. Number 3 on my list is they are accountable. They can tell you why it's right and why what you said or they heard was incorrect. And number 4 is antisocial. Because they are so detail-oriented and somewhat critical of people who generalize a lot, they do not seem to be real strong in the social world. If you see them at a party, they're the one over in the corner reading Engineering Today or some book like that, rather than visiting with people. They're not really great at small talk. They want to know, why are we even having this party? Why are we doing what we're doing? What is it about this that's important? Why should I give my time to this situation? They have to know, what is the value? Why are we doing this? And how much of it do I have to do? And then number 5 is the word actually. I throw it in because it's a great word to catch the appraiser's attention. You're talking along, making a presentation, whether it's a sales situation or a management situation, and you see they're nodding off a little bit, just simply say, actually, or bottom line, or matter of fact, the Bottom line is, and in the process of doing that, they feel comfortable because now we're cutting through the fat and hitting the bone, so to speak. So, in dealing with people then that have this motivation, you need to understand that they are highly critical. Don't take it personal. When they're critical, they're actually, in most cases, trying to help you. They correct where correction is not accepted or appreciated, because if you're going to do it right. That's their whole lifestyle, and they expect you to feel the same way. If I were doing something wrong, I'd want somebody to correct me, so I'm correcting you. And I hear people say, well, who do you think you are telling me what to do? You're not my boss. No, but you want to do it right, don't you? Well, of course I want to do it right, and I am doing it right. No, you're not. You're wrong. And they'll get into an argument of that type of situation where, it's a nonsense argument, really, but it breaks down relationships, and it's not a positive thing. Do not argue with appraisers. They're right. They make sure they're right. The appraiser lacks flexibility. They can't say, we'll fudge on that a little bit. We'll go a little beyond. No. We're going to do what we are going to do. In the corporate structure, the sales director of sales and marketing says, we need to produce this new product. We need to achieve this goal. And the appraiser accountant says, well, we don't have that in our budget. You're going to have to wait until next year in next year's budget. But we need to do it now because we have the opportunity now. There are people wanting what we have, and if we don't take advantage of it, we probably are not going to be able to capitalize on this situation. Well, the appraiser says, well, it's just not in the budget. And that's where the president has to step in, the CEO has to step in and say, we're going to work through this. We'll find some budgetary dollars from another source and put it in so we can get this done because it is vital to us. So the appraiser lacks flexibility. They have difficulty with anything that's kind of in the neighborhood of right around. They're super knowledgeable, and if they don't have the knowledge, they will tell you that. Not sure, I've never studied that, but I'd be glad to do a little study and come back with some answers, and you can count on them, come back with details and facts, figures, and so on. They are knowledgeable or will find knowledge if needs be. So in dealing with the appraiser, we want to stick to facts, figures, and details. No generalization. Just stay totally away from approximate neighborhood right around. If you do not have the facts, then you simply say, let me do a little research and come back with the facts on this so we know where we're going with this. And they'll give you as much time as you need just to come back with facts, figures, and details. So you ask for assistance on details with some people who are knowledgeable and can step in and create answers to and solutions to some of your situations that are kind of a little bit out of your knowledge or out of your understanding. They can step in and be that support person that really helps a great deal. And then give recognition for their intellect and their achievement and their knowledge, because they are super knowledgeable. They make sure they know. They do the due diligence. They study. They read. They are well read. The value of all of this, of course, is that the appraiser is the kind of person you can count on to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. That's a good definition of a good accountant, a good vice president of accounting. All of those things are good. The downside is that you have to put up with a little bit of criticism from them every day, whether you want it or not. They'll let you know where you're wrong, where you're falling short. So be tolerable, be patient with their criticism. It's not really criticism. What they're trying to do is help you. It's a support thing that in their mind, giving you the correct information. In the mind of the person who they're correcting, often it sounds like a put down or correction. Just be flexible with them, let them be right, and you'll have a good working relationship. In our next lesson, we're going to continue with the fourth motivation. We call it the relator motivation, and it's the people. It's the people who are friendly, warm, wonderful, kind of people you enjoy being around, kind of people that make excellent salespeople, make great managers because they're people-oriented. But we're also going to take a look at some of the downside and some of the things that you struggle with a little bit in relating to the relator on a regular basis. So tune in again, and we'll love to have you on board. And let us know. If you have any questions about any of this, we will answer those questions. And if you want to suggest something that might be of value to you along these lines, as far as clarifying certain things, we're flexible on this end. We can adjust also. So tune us in next time. Appreciate you being with us today.